Please stand for flag salute and declare.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bless us as we gather today for this freeholder meeting. Guide our minds and hearts so we may work together for the good of our community. Help us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decision. Amen. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is to announce that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. Pursuant to the 2019 bylaws, rules, and regulations of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Burlington, time shall be set aside on the agenda for receipt of public comments. Public comments will be received with respect to agenda items prior to board consideration of resolutions to be adopted. An additional opportunity for public comment will occur later in the meeting. Public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Unused time may not be transferred to another speaker. Persons may speak once per public comment period. I direct the deputy clerk to enter into the minutes of this meeting, this public announcement, and the advance written notice of this meeting. Freeholder Hobson? Here. Freeholder O'Connell?
Here.
Freeholder Singh?
Here.
Freeholder Tyler?
Here.
Director Pulliam?
Here. Thank you. At this point, I'll be looking for approval of the minutes of both the public and conference meetings of November 26, 2019.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I abstain from the conference meeting.
Okay, noted. Okay, at this time, we're moving on to public comment on agenda items. This portion of public comment is limited to items on tonight's agenda. Anyone who wishes to speak on any other topic will have a chance to do so later in the meeting. Please note, this is public comment, your opportunity to provide us with input and feedback. It's not a question and answer forum. A reminder, each speaker may only come up once per public comment portion. On the agenda, Eileen Carlos?
That's a non-agenda item.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Does anybody have anything for non-agenda items? Okay, hearing none, I'll close this portion and move on to resolutions. I would like to make a motion that we approve resolutions G1 through G24 by unanimous consent.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Freeholder Singh?
Thank you, Director. I'd like to move resolution G25 by unanimous consent.
Second?
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions? Freeholder Hobson?
Thank you, Director. I'd like to move G26 through G30 by unanimous consent.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none. Abstentions? Freeholder O'Connell?
Thank you, Freeholder Director. I'd like to move resolutions G31 through G35 by unanimous consent.
Second?
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, at this time, I'm going to have nomination and election of the Homeless Trust Fund. We're now going to nominate and elect members of the Homeless Trust Fund for one-year term from January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. I would like to nominate Joanne Schwartz, Bill Harries, Barry Conaway, Joyce Howell, James Contiani, Shirley Simpson, Darlene Tapier, Simon Rude, Madeline Sutton, Marge McGinley, Tina Mikes, and Matthew Riley. Are there any other nominations? Aaron, please do roll call.
Freeholder Hobson?
Names is read.
Freeholder O'Connell?
Names is read.
Freeholder Singh?
Names as read.
Freeholder Tyler?
Names is read.
Director Pulliam?
Names is read. Now we're going to nominate and elect members of the Solid Waste Advisory Council to a one-year term from January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2021. I would like to nominate Mayor or Designee of the Township of Florence, Mayor or Designee of the Township of Mansfield, Nick Sedano, Kyle Pearson, William Montowitz, Becky Casper, Mike Murphy, Owen Sheehan, Andy Weber, Robert Redmeyer, Christy Osborne, David Specca, Eugene M. Fuzzy, Joseph Brickley, Dr. Herbert Conaway, and Mary Pat Robbie. Are there any other nominations? Aaron, please do a roll.
Freeholder Hodson,
Names is read.
Freeholder O'Connell,
Names is read.
Freeholder Singh,
Names as read.
Freeholder Kyber,
Names is read.
Director Pulliam.
Names is read. Okay, now I'll do the appointments by director to the Human Services Advisory Council. They also will serve a one-year term from January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. I would like to appoint Dawn Starn, Todd Worth, Dr. Herb Conaway, Janessa Rivera, Ann Median, Charles D. Filippo, Darlene Trapier, Joe Zesky, Kelly West, Angela Gonzalez, Beth Dunlap, Alice Oppenheimer, Evelyn Rosado, Marianne Furphy, Kathy Chichester, Charlotte Thompson Simpson, Claudia Sturix, Susan Bresch, Elfrida Francis, Matthew Kirk, Jerry Kilkenny, Tony Porreca, and Louis Tamai. Next, appointments by director to the Youth Services Advisory Council. Also for a one-year term from January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020. I would like to appoint Richard Nocella, Rochelle Coleman, Shannon Denise Danis, Todd Worth, Scott Kofina, Jay Kessler, Marianne Furphy, Kathleen Chichester, Barbara Bigland, Darrell Minus Vincent, Dr. Christopher Nagy, Shirley Simpson, Mike Preston, Lynn Arnieri, Daniel Blank, Misty Weiss, Elfrida Francis, Kelly West, Joe Conlon, Fisha Green, James Condiani, Elizabeth Dunlap, Dorothy Kennedy, Dr. Amy Dean, Siga Amuso, Jennifer Sigelkin, Trina Jackson, Laura Wall, and Ryan Petzo. Next, we'll move on to appointments for Community Development General Advisory Committee, also for a one-year term beginning January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. I would like to appoint Amy Barra, Cheryl Simpson, Matthew Riley, Avina Overton, Joseph Brickley, Jay Nelson Waste, Stephen Bezikas, Randolph Brolo Jr., Kelly West, Al Finkenstein, Matthew Johnston, Madeline Sutton, Kathleen Weasel, Lisa Killian Smith, Bruce Goldman, and Gary Cantrell. Next appointments by director are the Local Advisory Council on Alcohol and Drug Abuse, also for a one-year term beginning January 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. I would like to appoint Harriet L. Cohen, Eileen Teginga, Gina Battersbach, John Gaffney, Melissa O'Mara, Todd Worth, Barbara Bigland, Donald Weinbaum, David Romano, Kim Matson, Jim Melvin, Joni Treese, Michael Mandel, and Marianne Furphy. At this time, I'll entertain any questions from the press. Hearing none, now we'll move on to comments on non-agenda items. Now we'll move on to public comment for non-agenda items. Once again, I'd like to note that this is a public comment and your opportunity to provide us with input and feedback. It's not a question and answer forum. Each speaker may only come up once per public comment portion. Okay, on the list I have again Eileen Carlos.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for seeing me this evening. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year as well.
I'm sorry, excuse me, can you just state your name and town for the record?
Eileen Carlos, Chemung Township.
Thank you.
I'm here because there's a concern that I have, as well as many residents of Chemung Township, in that the county is, the Chemung Township has motioned to send to have the county build a roundabout at Route 541 and Willow Grove Road. The concern is because when they brought up this incident, the incident was brought up by Mr. DeCroach, who is the mayor, and he came to the county and asked what we do with this intersection. The misinformation that he's given out is that the county is forcing this down Chemung's throat at $20 million of value. I did an open request which Chemung came up with 2 pieces of paper in that Mayor DeCroach, the email being sent asking for the meeting with the county, and then the other was to the Red Lion State Barracks, who in turn they received information of 3 incidences that happened in July of 2018. This intersection, I guess, has been a concern with the township for the last 6 years. So for 5 years, nothing was done, and then all of a sudden, December 2018, the mayor decided that he wanted to meet with the county. The administrator of the county and the engineer, the Chemung Township Administration meets with the county and then comes to the public and tells the public, the Chemung Township, that they have to do this roundabout. It's the only thing they can do. It's $20 million. The mayor puts out an article in the Pine Barrens, or the Pines Tribune, and says, this $20 million project, we don't want it, but we have to do it. The county says we have to do it. Well, I didn't get much information from the township, and when I did an open with the county, it was an unfortunate situation because I got everything redacted. I love the new format on a CD. I was excited to learn all about what's going on with this roundabout for our town, spending that amount of money. And so I put it in, and only to find that it's all black. So I'm here to say, what can I do to further get my information on a roundabout, which is a traffic issue, and I'm concerned as to why it would be redacted. That's my first thing. Other thing is concerned is there's 2,100 homes in Chemung Township. I walked those homes and I spoke to over 800 people. And of those 800 people, only one said that the roundabout was a concern at that price and we should put that roundabout in for EMS purposes. You happen to be a fire police chief, not chief, but fire police involved. So if I have a multitude of people that say, no, they don't want this, and the township committee won't put it forward to the public for a vote, the township committee has then suggested that we come to the freeholder board and let you know how we feel about it. Right now I'm on my own because I'm here to just find out, to get the information. From the information, we're going to put a petition together. From the petition, we will present that at the time that we get enough signatures to present it to you, to ask you not to build that roundabout unless it's reviewed and looked at as though that is the only thing that you can do in that intersection. At this point, the community and myself feel that there are other options that can be done at a much cheaper price. There's a lot of things that have not been done at that intersection, such as the lights, the LED light up, the bumpers in the road, a number of things that can be looked at. So I feel that the information that we've been getting from Chemung Township has been misinforming, and that I'm here to put it on the record that A, I would like to get the information on this particular project, and I would like to I will be putting a petition together to present to you at a later time in order to review that. And I'll ask, is that an appropriate procedure that you could see me doing to get this?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting a petition forward if you want to do that.
Right, and is this the format that I can get to ask for? You look at the request to see if I can get unredacted documents on the traffic?
The only thing I can say to that is, if it, I haven't confirmed that it's actually redacted. What if somebody put it on disk and it just didn't take it? It's blank. I don't know that.
Okay.
Okay, so why don't we do this? Why don't I give all your information to Nick? And as soon as I get a chance to talk to our engineering department, I will say this as a comment. I can tell you that the engineering department for the county goes through a lengthy process of traffic research, population, all of that before it does anything with roadways. And I can tell you for myself, because I'm the liaison to the Public Works and to the engineering, that if they're talking about putting in a roundabout down there, it's got to be for some real good reason. Okay, it's not that we want to spend $23 million just to put a roadway in.
So just so you know, there's been so much information from the township on this particular project that at the last township committee meeting in November, it did come out that the mayor said it was only 2 million.
Okay,
So
all right.
the 20 million went down to 2, so
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see how that came about.
Yeah, give your information to Nick and I'll get an opportunity to talk with our engineer and get to the bottom of it.
Sounds great. Thank you so
Okay.
much for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
Good evening, Tom, members of the Freeholder Board, Paul Bracy, 12 Regency Drive, Mount Holly. What a breath of fresh air. Now that you have a 5-0 board, and you've made commitments to serving we, the people of Burlington County, it's an encouraging time. I'm here tonight, Tom, to follow up on a discussion that we've had and I've had with this board and representatives from District 7, District 8, and related communities that are affected for over the last 4 years. Based on a shooting, another drive-by murder that occurred in a community that I grew up in, half a block from where I lived growing up. Not even 4 weeks ago, after our county superintendent, or our county prosecutor had to pump it up like Arnold, a showtime review, and for what it's worth, those 12 to 14 block areas in Burlington City have cameras. And that camera's on at the time of the murder. And as you may know, that murder was on a Sunday afternoon. So as you know, Tom, everything that I've been talking about for the last 4 years is real. So this is what Bracy for Change is. This is what Doty's Way is, as you know. For what it's worth, one of the young men that I've been sponsoring out of my pocket, which has cost me so far year to date close to $10,000, which I no longer have, is Sonny Boy Blanco, who was a Burlington City graduate who I first met when I was coaching at RV. Sonny Boy fled Africa because he feared having his head cut off when he was around 8 years old. Through my program and through mentoring him from the time he was a freshman at RV and support from a lot of folks, such as the Boker brothers, both of which grew up in the same area that I grew up in, understand what it was. Through those efforts, Sonny Boy now is completing a graduate degree, finished, it was a 2-time Division III All-American, finished 3rd in the nation, and I'm hoping I can bring back to actually run this program with Burlington County Police Department's Chief, John Fine, who's highly in support of this program. Now, I understand the timelines. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read a prepared text. I am asking for permission to finish my thoughts without interruption. As part of my presentation, this is a 17-point restoration of New Yorkshire. I grew up in that area. I grew up in that 12-14 block area, which is now a combat zone. I don't have to talk about how many youth from that riverline area have died. But what you need to know is I've devoted my entire life, aside from having all the behavioral symptoms and mannerisms that they have, I got lucky. Because when I grew up, Burlington was a village. When I got up, I had some folks that ran interference. When I grew up, I had Officer Roy and Hutton that would take me home. When I grew up, I had Danny Keegan that got me involved in every recreation program. And it still didn't work. But it was working. At 15, a man who was also had to deal with dues like I had to do during my formative years, 0 to 5, and also was an orphan, became my wrestling coach. A bad to the bone little dude just like me. But what he said is, yo man, you want to be something? You're going to do it my way. And my way was, his way was whatever it took. And I did whatever it took. But you know what, even then, I'm a sophomore at Burlington Senior High School. Got a lot of alleys in Burlington. It was even clear then, I'm still working that line. I mean, I'm doing everything Coach says during the season. But off season, I'm just a Burlington boy, bopping, doing the city thing. Hanging out in New Yorkshire, both sides of the line. My parents, who ran interference for me, moved my butt and my family to Edgewater Park. That was really the country back in the day. But as you know, Tom, Edgewater Park folks don't want to go to Sydney anymore, including 2 of my baby grands. Please let me finish. Please let me finish.
Go ahead.
They provided me with space. Many of my street bopping boys back in the day are dead or in jail now. I devoted my lifetime. It was no easy ride. I got a scholarship thinking I'm going to wrestle in the Olympics at a time when my mom, who also has county roots, former director of nursing educational programs at Buttonwood Hall, which gained national acclaim, developed the first ever through the Burlington County Health Department, visiting Home Nurses Association, but kind of being the Burlington side, Ivy League degrees only go so far. But back in the day, I'm talking 50s. When you have 2 Ivy League degrees and you graduate from Philadelphia General Hospital and you're a woman from Burlington, on the brown side of town, some of those freeholders didn't know how to deal with her. But she knew what mattered most. Long and short, you know what October surprise was back in the day before the internet? I'm trying to make the 1960s, 67 Midwest Olympic Zone wrestling team at that time. But I never forgot the commitment and the opportunities freeholders provided. Now, please, thank you. This is a 17-point action plan that I know, if I can empower those that know, and know I know, to implement what should be done, we will transform that side of New Yorkshire within 5 years, I guarantee you. There's no doubt about it. I have proven everything true to soul in this county based on what I've done as a social worker, a crisis intervention specialist, a coach, a community volunteer, and an educator, working the population I work with. Let's think about this. Browns Mills, Pemberton, Mount Holly, Beverly, Palmyra, Burlington City, and Willingboro. See the pattern, Tom? Know what's happening in those areas? Pumping up like Arnold didn't work. The cameras in Willingboro and Burlington City, which are there now, are not working. My proactive program, which is based on my life, based on my professions, my professional accomplishments, nobody can touch them. Paper means nothing to me. But if you talk to anybody that's ever seen me do what I do, I will never apologize for my passion and my issues. Because I devoted my life to working with populations just like that. But they will never say anything except I'm golden. Because I've always come from the right place. And it was never about me, it was about opportunity to give back. Now I'm going to go with the prepared remarks and thank, given to 2020, aftermath of the elections, the Democrats, you now have an opportunity to prove what the freeholders did for me. I knew the freeholders. I would go to Mike Conda's house. Gene Stafford was close to my father. Governor Florio was a keynote speaker at my mom's retirement. I had a personal conversation with Harrison Williams Jr.
Do me a favor. You have the prepared comments?
Yes, I'm going to read them.
Okay, go ahead.
You have an opportunity to serve a suite of people in Burlington County. After close to 35 years of pay-to-play, political action committee, and most recently dark money, as the aftermath of the Citizens United 5-4 decision made by the United States Supreme Court. Tonight, you have a chance to clearly demonstrate you are freeholders, not freeloaders. This was in yesterday's Carrier Post about what was happening, that murder. The ages, 23, 20, 19, 20. I've been talking about proactive programs 3 to 15 for the last 5 years. I've devoted my life to working with those populations. I know what will work. It's not even a question. Please let me finish. I know this proactive program, which I've outlined with you, I've outlined with Troy, I've outlined with her, I've outlined with every representative. Problem isn't what I'm telling you, it's me. Because you're stuck on me and not what I can provide. I've had it. There's no doubt about it. This gentleman knows it. There are people in here that know it. So tonight you have a chance. You have a chance to step up like the Feelers did for my mom. See what you don't know. My mom married into money. She's a poor white trash girl from Burlington that had to endure the reality of it. But see, here's the real deal. My grandpa knew what the deal was. He came from the South, got a degree from Penn, way back in the day, Philly Railroad engineer. What folks didn't realize there was discrimination in the 40s, 50s in Philly. He befriended a black porter who was being physically assaulted and abused. He lost a lucrative job, but he realized, my children aren't going to grow up that way. And that's why they lived on the brown side of town. But you know what? My mom didn't know what discrimination was.
Paul, you've already exceeded.
I understand. I need to finish this. I don't see a lot of other folks in between. I need to finish this. So, what happens? She finds out what the real deal first time she crossed the street at Burlington Senior High School. But she got lucky. Because her closest friends just happened to be Herman Costello, Anthony Gretzky, and the Condas. And I got lucky because of the fallout of it. So all I'm proposing is this. You know what I've been talking about. I'm asking for a one-time meeting. I don't have to prove it, I'll show you. I'll show you how to pay for it. I've told you that. A one-time meeting with, and what you may not know, you know the Riverfront Y is a property of the city of Burlington? Why can't we use that Y for this program? How come the city of Burlington doesn't know about it?
Okay.
No, I gotta finish.
I know.
I want
This is enough.
District 7. All the players.
Okay.
I've been there, I've talked to them, I'm tired of it.
All right, listen. Here's
Troy Singleton, Carol Murphy, you know who the players are.
I do.
You.
Yep.
Now, what you don't know is with your support, I can get the Holden Enterprises to back me.
Okay. Do me a favor now.
What?
We'll get the meeting.
When?
Well, it's going to have to be after.
I've been fighting for this meeting for 5 years.
It's going to have to be after the holidays. Give me the new paperwork there for the 17 points. Give that
Yes.
to Nick. All right? And I promise you I'll reach out to you.
I'm not going to stop until it's done, Tom.
I understand.
The one last thing. I'm 71. This push has affected a relationship
Okay.
with 2 of my sons, and you know them. You know Adam.
I know. Okay.
And 5 of my 8 baby grands.
All right.
I've had it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul. I'll reach out, Paul.
I apologize for taking extra time.
Paul, give him the information, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do we have anybody else? Go ahead.
I know he's a tough act to follow. And I live in that neighborhood, so I'm Mary Richter, 400 Wood Street, Burlington. I'm going to be very brief, just want to tell you one good thing. November 26th, I was here and I encouraged you to ensure that the Burlington County Library put a lot of they've been making a lot of positive changes in their computer use to put it into written policy. Well, Juliana Feener Craig, who's the director of the Beverly Library, which serves Beverly and Edgewater Park, and as a member library, they have changed their policy so that patrons who owe more than $10 or fees or fines would no longer be restricted from using library computers. She wrote an article for the Beverly Bee so everyone knows about it. So I'm hoping the county library will do the same, put the policy in writing and let people know. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, hearing none, I'll close this portion to non-agenda items. And we'll move on to comments by freeholders. Freeholder Tyler.
Thank you, Director. I don't have anything tonight. I'd just like to wish everyone from my family to you and yours a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Freeholder O'Connell.
Thank you, Freeholder Director. I'd like to thank everybody who came out tonight, and as my colleague Freeholder Tiber just said, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, whatever holiday you celebrate, Happy Hanukkah, and all the best to everyone in the new year. I would just like to point out a couple of events that I had the honor to attend. One was an invitation by the Yellow Ribbon Committee that has a welcome home celebration for returning vets. And on November 30th, they had a surprise welcome home for a U.S. Air Force Reserve member, Regina Iezi. It was a wonderful event. She had done a year's tour in Afghanistan, and I was happy to represent the Board of Chosen Freeholders. And thanks again for Operation Yellow Ribbon. I think it's the third or fourth time that they've invited the freeholders to participate. And the other two occurred on December 1st and December 8th out at the Smithville Mansion. They had the 42nd annual Christmas tour of the mansion, and then last Sunday they had a Victorian Christmas throughout not only the mansion but the grounds. I encourage anyone in the county, if you're not feeling in the Christmas spirit, if you go out there, you certainly will come away with that spirit. The Friends of the Mansion at Smithville, along with a load of volunteer organizations, put a lot of effort decorating the various rooms of the mansion. They had choral groups this past Sunday on the grounds. It was a beautiful day. I got to see our county administrator out there, Eve. And I just encourage anybody in the county to go out and see the fine work that they're doing out there. Again, thanks everybody for coming, and have a great holiday season. Thanks, Freeholder Director.
Okay, Freeholder Robson.
I'd just like to congratulate everybody who worked with us on the Housing Hub. So we had a great day yesterday, and the Housing Hub, as we said yesterday, is going to assist with how we cure for homelessness in Burlington County. So I'm excited that we have it. Thank you, Shirla. Thank you, Shirla. Thank you, Shirla. Shirla is Director of Human Services, and she spearheaded, and I just appreciate all the hard work that went into it. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. Happy holidays to everyone.
Deputy Director Singh.
Well, thank you, Director. Happy holidays. Enjoy. These are the times when I'm appreciative of Jen being able to go to all these things. I really have been just bombarded with the family at home and haven't been able to go to much of the events in the past month or so. So thank you so much for coming out, and enjoy the holidays.
Once again, thanks so much to everybody that keeps the big engine moving. You know what I'm talking about. I've talked about you all year. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And as the other freeholders have said, we wish you a blessed Christmas, Happy New Year, or whatever holiday you celebrate, and look forward to you being back here, what is it, January 2nd, okay? Have a good evening, safe travels. Thanks for coming. Call for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.